George.
Two things. One, congratulations on the 11-point spread, but we're still the underdog as I see what's happening around
Oh, I got to keep fighting like we're the underdog, because you know who I'm fighting against? The press.
Yes.
The disgusting propagandists.
Election news, a new poll shows the race for Arizona's governor is widening, and Kari Lake is pulling ahead, according to Insider Advantage, which is doing the polling for us here at Fox 10. It shows the former news anchor, Republican Kari Lake, leading Katie Hobbs now by 11%. That is kind of an outlier, but it's an 8% jump since the poll 2 weeks ago when they commissioned a poll. Lake continues to trend high among older adults and Hispanics.
The next day,
Fox 10 News is back.
A new report reveals the most expensive cities to rent in, and several places in Arizona made the cut. According to rental site Zumper, the median one-bedroom apartment in the Big Apple goes for more than $3,800 a month. That's well above the national median of roughly $1,400. In Arizona, 2 cities made the top 25. Scottsdale came in at 15 with a median rent of nearly $1,900. Gilbert ranked 24th with a median around.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about a story that I would like to call an example of the mainstream liberal media trying to run predictive programming, in a sense that, you know, they try to tell the future through fictional stories. We see this a whole lot with The Simpsons, okay? Every single time, you know, something happens, something crazy happens, somebody can point back to some episode of The Simpsons where they kind of predicted that it was going to happen. Okay, I think we're seeing a little bit of that with the Arizona governor race that happened after there was a bombshell poll that came out showing Kari Lake up 11 percentage points over Katie Hobbs in the Arizona governor race. Now, about a day or so after this comes out, and also Kari Lake basically eviscerating the media over what she calls a fake news story that we're going to get into, you had a local Fox station run a graphic that actually shows Katie Hobbs beating Kari Lake in the election, right? As if the election was already done, okay? It was over, okay? They had Katie Hobbs winning. And Kari Lake and her campaign are rightfully pissed because, again, you can define this as media interference in the election. Again, in the sense that we're talking about predictive programming here, okay? Where you have a media outlet that will run something like this, right? To try to show that, hey, you know, Katie Hobbs, she won the election, right? She won the election, okay? And again, this type of stuff, again, you can argue can motivate or change people's voting habits, right? Now, Fox is saying that they didn't do this on purpose, that it was an accident, and that the graphic was never meant to run. So this is what they say here. They say it's at 5:50 p.m. during the Fox 10 newscast today, a small graphic appeared on the lower left side of the screen showing results for the upcoming election. These were generated by the Associated Press, which distributed results to clients. This graph was never meant to go on air. The numbers were only part of a test. The station has taking steps to make sure this cannot happen again. So again, it's funny to me because, again, if this is a part of a test, and it seems like the results that they showed up there was generated by the Associated Press, or that the Associated Press has something to do with this, and you guys know that is the most mainstream liberal media outlet there is, right? The Associated Press is at the top of the top. Why didn't you just show it being equal, right? Why don't you show it being 50-50, or why don't you just show it being 0? Why'd you have to show Katie Hobbs winning in a blowout against Kari Lake? Which, in my opinion, considering how things are going, I find it very, 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 very difficult to believe that Arizonans would elect Katie Hobbs at this point, just considering how bad that she's done. But I'm just saying, crazier things have happened. I definitely don't think we would ever see a blowout scenario. However, again, allegedly, this was a part of a test, according to Fox 10. But this is something that, in my opinion, is unacceptable, especially in a time where you have people on the left and the right who have become skeptical of election results, right? They become skeptical. Again, for as much as people want to talk about the right and the claims that the right makes, the left makes the same claims. So it's like, as a news station, you need to understand the potential ramifications of displaying a graphic like this in error, okay, and what that could mean. So they should have been a lot more careful. So with that being said, it just so happens that this comes as Kari Lake is eviscerating the media for running what she calls a fake news story. Because allegedly, the office of Katie Hobbs was broken into early on Tuesday. And Katie Hobbs has come out here and blamed Kari Lake. She's saying, look, this is the fault of Kari Lake and her extremist rhetoric, okay? She basically has motivated political violence, right? She motivated this to happen. This is what Katie Hobbs is saying. Although, when asked about it from the media and reporters, seems like she really doesn't want to talk about it. She doesn't go into details.
Hi. What was taken from your campaign office? And do you have reason to believe that this was politically motivated?
I'm not talking about
It's kind of a big deal, though, that your campaign office was broken into.
I think access to safe and legal abortion is kind of a big deal, and that's what we're here to talk about.
Do you have reason to believe it was politically motivated?
We're not going to go beyond the statement at this time.
Yeah, so like everything else with Katie Hobbs' campaign, right? She don't want to talk about it. She don't want to debate. She don't want to talk about anything. But she will levy accusations that somehow, some way, she knows for certain that this is connected to Kari Lake spreading hate. And of course, the mainstream liberal media rolled with this story that is unproven. Okay, we really don't know much about it. Katie Hobbs doesn't really want to give many details about what happened, what was stolen, or anything like that. But again, they're going to roll with it anyways because they want to paint Kari Lake as an extremist. She's a right-wing extremist inciting hate and violence in this country. This is what they want to say. So, of course, they asked Kari Lake about it. And let's just say that Kari Lake was not having any of it from the media. Take a look.
Who are you and who are you with?
Joe Roth, Washington Examiner. I wonder how you would suggest that we as the media cover this story. Were we supposed to ignore it? There wasn't a lot of information. We were trying to report it out. I'm just curious how you...
Yeah, you dig around and you wait. You realize you have enough experience, hopefully, to recognize what this is. Late in the game, 13 days out, desperate campaign because they're falling like a rock in the polls. Again, she got word that she's 11 points down. And you use some discernment and go, wait a minute, let's think of the motivation here. Pause before we run with this. Jeremy Dutta, who runs with it like it's crazy, like it's, oh my gosh, we got to get this out. Stop and think for a minute. Think if it makes sense. Dig around a little bit. Talk to your sources. Don't just run with it. And don't put it around like NBC News did. Boy, they were so eager to put these stories out there that I had something to do with it. Slow down, get your facts straight, press her. You know, she did get pressed today and she didn't want to talk about it. Isn't that funny? Yesterday she wants to spread this defamatory statement and you guys ran with it. It's defamatory, guys. It's defamatory. It's accusing me of being a criminal. Do you get that? Do you understand what a defamatory statement is? You all spread defamatory statements yesterday. I have a story for you. We had an incident this morning at our campaign headquarters. Now, I didn't go crazy and I didn't throw a bunch of statements out. But we had an incident where somebody was seen rummaging in our campaign office. And I have evidence to believe it may have been Katie Hobbs herself who was involved in this. And so I want you to take the same vigor you put into the story, the lies that were spread yesterday, and I want to make sure you guys, I saw last night, Fox 10 News, my old employer, wow, they actually did more to protect the criminal in this case. They blurred his face. They protected Katie Hobbs because they're carrying her water. And they defamed me. They put defamatory statements, lies about me. And the reason they did that is because this was the real news yesterday that none of you wanted to cover. We're 11 points up. You're in a frenzied panic because your chosen candidate is not winning. You didn't want to cover this, so you had to run with a completely garbage bullshit story. Shame on each and every one of you. Shame on you.
Guys, I want you to understand how much of a beast Kari Lake is, okay? She is an absolute monster, right? She is truly the media's and the Democrats' worst nightmare. I'm so serious. She shames the media, right? Shames the media for running with what she calls a fake news story that Katie Hobbs doesn't want to talk about, that somehow, some way, Kari Lake incited somebody to go into her office, to break into Katie Hobbs' office, right? So Kari Lake, again, not only shames the press for running with this story, tells them how to do their job, right? Because she was in the media, okay, how to vet stories. She also basically trolls the media by showing a picture of Katie Hobbs as a chicken, right? Somebody in a chicken outfit going into Kari Lake's office, okay? As a troll story, saying, hey, how about you guys run with this, right? Run with this story since you guys want to run with fake news stories so much. Oh my God. Oh my God. Boy, Kari Lake is a gangster. She is a beast. I'm telling you. Put Kari Lake on my team, right? If I'm going to the political battlefield, I want Kari Lake on my team. I want Trump on my team. I want Ron DeSantis on my team. I want my team to be full of political gangsters that ain't taking no shit from the mainstream liberal media. That's what I want, okay? Because that is where we're at in politics nowadays. This is what you got to do to the lying press. This is what you got to do to the lying mainstream liberal media. You got to shame them, and then you got to troll them. You got to embarrass them. You got to humiliate them. And that is something that Kari Lake has done time and time again, because again, they should have really vetted that story before they ran with it. I mean, it happens, right? Anytime, there's a story that sounds too good to be true, you might want to do some extra vetting to make sure that, hey, you're reporting on stuff that is true, or use the term allegedly, right? This is why I use it a whole lot, okay? I use it as a cover, right? Alleged is a very, very, very useful term to throw in there, because that way you kind of cover. Because I do think it is worth reporting. But again, you should report with skepticism. Say, hey, this is what she's alleging, but she don't really want to talk about it, right? For whatever reason, she really doesn't want to talk about it, okay? Have some neutrality here. So, like I said, man, Kari Lake is an absolute beast. Fox 10, I got questions, right, about who ran that graphic. How was this mistake made? It needs to be corrected. And whoever ran that graphic, honestly, probably should face some type of punishment, because, again, this is the type of stuff that we don't need in a time in which people really don't have all that much faith in our elections. When you have the mainstream media or Fox 10, I mean, along with the Associated Press as well, too. Again, so, you got big corporate media involved in this, running a graphic like this. That doesn't help people put trust in the outcome of the election, okay? And this is the last thing that we need at this point in time. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.